Welcome to GA Flying. Today we are in Brazil, in Congonhas, and we will fly the mighty 727. As you know and as you see, the channel is called GA Flying. That's saying this kind of fits into the radio navigation flying series that we will be doing, because this time I will also only use VORs. And also, when we kind of resign from the more advanced navigation systems that are also possible here, then this kind of feels like a GA plane. And it's also one of the best planes that I own for hand flying, especially in 2024. The hand flying experience is almost as good as the one in the A2A Aerostar that we have flown in the last video. When it comes to Congonhas, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. You might know the name because there was like a serious accident with an A320 in 2007, I think. There were many reasons for it. First, like the runway is pretty short, then it was not protected like from intense rain. And then there were also some mistakes done by the pilot when it comes to using reversers. You can watch it on, I think, National Geographic. There's like a series, a show, right, about accidents. And this was one of those. But I haven't chosen this airport because like of the tragic history of it, but because it's just in the right place for our flight that I will want to do between multiple VORs and also with an approach based on a VOR. So similar to the approach that we have done in the last video with the Aerostar, then it was without visibility at all. This time I hope it will be fine, because the meter shows that we should have visibility, but I've already checked the winds and there's like a big possibility that this approach will be even more complicated than the prior one, that we will have to use a DME arc approach, and I will show you how it's done. Okay? So let's go back to our 727. It had a patch lately, I think 1 day ago or 2 days ago, and let me just show you the patch notes. Okay, oops. You can stop the video, but I can also tell you something about it. So for our flight, this one will be important because this was not working. This is the DMI that shows the direction to the closest navigation aid that you have chosen, and we will use it for sure today. One thing that sounds interesting is that state saving per livery is now implemented, but I don't think this is full state saving. I was testing it before, like leaving a switch on, but then when I reloaded it, the switch was not on. So maybe this is only about like options that you select in the EFB. But maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me. There were also some slight bugs, visual bugs that were corrected. And one thing that might be important for the flight today is that they have changed this one. First gen connected to AC bus logic now updated. So pretty much in every patch they are updating the logic of some like advanced system, and then it works like in a different way. So let's hope that we will be able to handle it this time. Okay, so let me show you our flight today. As always, I do prefer to use SkyVector because it's nice and fast. So we will be flying from Congonhas along the coast. There is some very nice scenery here up till Porto, right? Porto Alegre. As you pretty much can see, the route is taking us through multiple VORs, and you can also see them here. So I would like to show you first how to create such a route. It's really easy in SkyVector. Let me just remove all of those VORs. Okay, so we need the departure airport and the destination one that we want. And then we are just looking at the map, searching for the closest VORs and just pulling the line. Okay, add this VOR to the plan, Add this VOR to the plan. Okay, this one. From what I remember, because I was flying along this line before, one of those VORs is missing, but sadly I don't remember which one. So it was like decommissioned in the reality, or maybe it's back in MSFS, I don't know. But it didn't provide like full VOR information. Let me just see. Let us check the weather at our destination airport. It's direction 110. Okay, so 110, if this is like 90, so 110 is here. So this means that we will have to land from this direction, and this sadly means that we will have to choose like the most complicated approach that we have. So let me just show you airports, and this is SBPA. Okay. Approach. Okay, and we need this runway. The problem with all of those easy approaches is that they are GPS based and we are not flying with GPS. So this will leave us with the DME arc. DME arcs aren't that complicated if you have like a small nimble GA plane, but with something as fast and heavy as this one, this might be complicated, but we will see. Okay, let me get into the plane. It's not 2024, so you cannot like click on anything. Not all of the textures are perfect, but like when in flight, it looks really great. Okay, so let me just get in, Shift C, and we are in the cockpit. Okay, let's take a look at everything here. It's dark. Okay, so let's move to the engineering station. We will need the battery on. Maybe let's start with, do I want to start with external power? Nah, let's start with the battery. Okay. So now here, emergency lights armed. Okay. Do we want a logo light? Sure. Okay. And now let's load this thing up. So we do have a custom EFB for this one. That is really awesome. Really, really awesome. Like for a plane from a developer that is not an AAA developer, in this case it's FSS. I guess they are like a Swiss company or a Swiss-German company. Either way, let's just find this one. So we can import the flight from SimBrief, and I have prepared one. So let's just click on this one. Okay, and it's already providing the numbers, the cargo that was preloaded and the fuel that is needed, and all of the data here. Here you can use GSX if you have it. I do have it, but I don't want to prolong it. With GSX, it's taking like additional 10 minutes. Or even without GSX, you can choose to have like a realistic loading times. That's saying our flight will be long either way, so I will just like accelerate it. Maybe for future shorter flights, we will take a look at the whole process. Okay, so let me hope I remember how this works. Okay, and it's finished, right? Let's start it, and it's finished. Okay, and we have everything set up here. One thing, once we do have everything set up, then we can ask like the co-pilot, let's say, or the EFB in this case, to set up all of the speeds that we need and all of the calculations. Okay, so let me check once again what like the ICAO code of our airport is, SBSP. Okay, SBSP. We will be taking, okay, another check, SBPA. Airports, SPSP. Okay. So we are pretty much here, and we will be taking 17 right, because 17 left is not long enough. I guess maybe if we would not be fully loaded, but I would like a bigger margin. We don't need additional accidents on this airport. So 17 R. Okay, right. Okay. We have the data here updated, so let me use this already. 3024. Here. The effect when the digits are turning is not very nice. It's one of the like a small number of downsides really of this plane. And as you can see, you could also set it like with the European standard here, if you would fly in Europe. Okay, with this one, we want the co-pilot to set all of the engine parameters that we need and all of the speeds that we need. Okay. So now that we are loaded, as I said, normally it would be like a longer loading process. Let me just show you one new option that was added in this patch, right? So now we can have winglets. Let me just click on them. And you can see, looks pretty neat, but for me, it looks like too modern. So I do prefer this old looking plane. Okay. So in this case, we can start the APU. Let's not prolong it. Oops, sorry. We can close the door. Maybe before I close the door, I can show you. There is a panel that is like fully operational. And with this panel, you can like turn on a lot of lights around the plane, but also operate this big cargo door here. Let me just see, I guess I need to, this one, open and close, which is a lot of fun. So next time when we'll be doing the whole GSX loading thing and stuff, then you can see how immersive it is, that you can just stay like at this panel and, and pretty much control everything that is going on. It's a very nice feature. But for today, let's concentrate on the main functionality of the plane. Okay, so let's hope I do remember how it works. So let's not do the fire test this time. Let's just start the APU. And we can see it's starting. When it comes to the switches in this plane, many of those are not very good. There is like, you can see that the hand, it doesn't change into a hand. It's hard to know where to click, especially with like the legacy control method. So the best way for most of the switches is just using the scroll wheel, I found. Okay, it's going up. And let's go to the engineers panel here. And let's to see, we still don't have like APU power. Let me just check here. Oh, it's actually on already, I think. Yeah, because generator is off and APU already shows power. Actually, I'm not sure why it's red in this case. Maybe it's like the logic change that they were saying they are doing. Okay. Let me just see if I'm not doing any mistakes here. So I think normally it was pretty self-explanatory, right? Maybe it's one of those improvements that I don't understand. Yeah, because we normally have current like generated from the APU. Okay, battery is on, everything is on. Yeah, should be fine then. Okay, so what we want is one fuel pump from every tank. Let's wait for this. Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't really fly it for longer. I just need to close the circuit here. And now everything works. Okay, and now we can also switch to like APU being the essential power source. Okay, so now we can proceed. You will need the beacon light, the beacon, so other stuff that might be useful. There are a lot of tests here that like all work if you want to do them. Stick shaker and stuff. Let me just see if there is anything that we need at this stage. Fasten seatbelts, no smoking, although we only have like the crew because this is a cargo run here. The anti-skid we only use for takeoff and landing. So if we would like put it, like enable it now, we wouldn't have the whole like turning range of the front wheel. So this is like a mistake that I have done before when flying. Okay, when it comes to the altitude, our destination altitude is 34,000 feet. It was proposed by SimBrief, so I'm just taking it. This one is fine, this one is fine. Just have a strange camera selected. Okay. Let's just hide this one. Whoa, we have a GPS. No, that was not planned. Normally I do have it turned off, obviously. Okay, so I just have SIVA, right, but I'm not using it, so I'm normally just using the VOR navigation, so radio navigation. When you choose SIVA, right, there is the weather radar appearing, or like a retro weather scope, but sadly it's not functional yet. So the devs said that they might look into it like someday. Okay. We can already set up the navigation, but for this one to work, like for the radio navigation to work, there is like a hidden switch that I'm always forgetting about. So let's just move to the back. Here, master switch and master switch. Oops, and let's move back here. And we can already set up the first VOR. This will be here. Okay. So let's maybe already set up this one, 116.7. Okay, so the radios are here, NEF is here, so 116.7. And you can choose whichever one will be the active one, right? This one or this one. It's kind of different than in modern airliners, where one site is active and one site is like the one that you added, right? 115.7. In the case that 116.7 wouldn't work, let me just also set up this one. So 1167 and 1169. Okay. 1167 and 1169. Okay. And runway heading and the direction that we will be flying in will be, it's actually not the runway heading, but it's closed, just the direction here will be 178. Okay. Okay, and the heading, let's also move it to 178. Takes a lot of time. Can I do it like this? No. I mean, I can, but it's also slow. This is sometimes like a problem with the legacy control method in MSFS, that not all planes are like calibrated for it. Some, I guess the devs prefer to use the new method, so they kind of ignore this one, that it's not very convenient. Okay. So we have the bugs set, because this was set via the EFB, right? And we have also those EPR markers set. So this is like the engine power that we will have to use for takeoff. I'm not sure if the trim is set already, probably not, it's at 0 because like the engines are not working yet. Okay. With this, I think we can already, let me just another check here. So this is fine, this is fine, we don't need this. Here we can already set up like the cruise altitude and the landing altitude. I don't remember it now, so let's just keep it. We will be cruising at 34,000 feet. So the pressure here proposed is 5.2. So let's just change this to 5.2. It's like not the pressure, but like the cabin pressure or altitude, right? Okay, the APU bleed is open. This is fine. We cannot turn on the galley, but as this is a cargo flight, this won't make much of a difference. Okay, APU is on, everything is on. You do have a checklist here if you want to use it, that's fine. Those tables sadly don't fully match the ones that are like in the manual. And I can also shortly show you the manual because it's interesting. because the manuals provided by FSS are online, right? So they just have a web page with all of the topics. And I guess this way it's easier for them to update them, right? Okay. So I do hope I haven't forgot anything. We will see for sure if I did. And we can use GSX. Sadly, when it comes to non-custom airports, GSX in this plane, at least the tow, right, isn't working perfectly, but we will see. Let me just see if we need anything else here. So takeoff, no, SIVA, okay, metric system, fine. Now we don't need the chocks, and we don't need the cones. I'm just checking if it has like changed any of my standard settings, but it seems fine. The co-pilot callouts are great, one of the best in the planes I own. I always miss them when I'm flying like the Phoenix A320 that has almost no callouts. Okay. I just uncage this one. It's just a backup, but still. Okay, nice. This is this, this is this, this is this. I'm always afraid that I will forget something because I'm talking too much. Okay. And then it seems I will just prepare the engine starters. And then we can ask GSX.
You need to set parking brakes to request ground services.
Okay. Oh, I don't have the parking brake set. So the GSX is right. For a change. Okay. I was thinking it was always starting like with it before. Handling operator, I kind of don't care. Let me just see if I can like accelerate it a little bit. Do I want to interrupt pushback?
Hello, Captain.
No.
We are ready for pushback.
Okay. And like always with GSX, it's like realistic, so it will like take some time until they will be ready. Actually, in like 2020, I was having like a free.
Departure checks completed. Bypass being inserted.
I had a free application, right? A free plugin for pushback, and it was working great, as it was called like toolbar pushback. But for 2024, I had some like problems with it, issues, right? So like I finally gave in and bought GSX, which is working great on like expensive payware airports most of the time, but on the standard ones it's like a mixed bag. Okay, and what do I want? I want to do it to the left with the nose to the right. Yeah, tail left, nose right. Okay.
Release the parking brakes, please.
Okay.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wheel.
Thank you. Starting engine number 3. It's already doing strange stuff. No. Please, GSX, don't do it. Come on. Okay. Something is happening. Let's go back to our starter. We are at 20, so let's just add fuel. Let me go to the outside view so you can also hear how it works. Okay, and once it's ready, the starter should move back. Did it? No, I think it's still down. And it's a little bit lower than the other one. Oh, maybe. I wasn't paying attention because I was like an outside view. Yeah. Okay, I said bad things about GSX, but it seems to be fine. And I also, oh sorry, I also think we have a good start. So I might have missed the moment. Okay, so engine number 1. Oops, scroll wheel. Come on, please. No. Okay.
Please search parking brakes.
Okay. Thank you, GSX. Perfect.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Okay, engine number 1. We are arriving at 20. Slowly. Okay. We just start. There are no failures, right, and no wear and tear. So it will always work if I don't mess anything up. Let's go outside. Yeah, I know. I have 3 engines, GSX. Give me some time. Okay. I think it's back up, right? So the last engine. Yeah, you know. Also, you can open the window. Might be a little bit loud. I just want to show you. Pretty great. And it might seem like the engines are pretty silent, but once we add some power, they will become very loud. Okay. And we do have some nice engine starts, so let me just close those. And let's just set up everything. Oh, let's just confirm to GSX that we do have the engines. Yeah, you know.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Okay. Navigation lights. With the taxi one, let's wait to not blind like the people. Pitot heat. Click, click. Okay, window heat also here. Click, click, click. Okay, fasten seatbelts is already done. This is done. This we only do like for the start. Okay.
Unlocking gear.
Thank you. Now we can do all of the additional stuff. Let me see if the trim is set. It was set automatically now that we have engine power, because I was asking like the co-pilot before. Here, I think. Set speeds, set EPR and trim. Right? There is also like an automatic engineer. If you don't want to use this engineering panel by yourself, you can just use an automatic engineer that will do it for you. Okay. So let's move to the engineering station. We do have 3 engines on, right? So now we will need to turn on the generators in those engines, and it's like a small game, and this is also something that they have changed. So let's see if it works how I remember it working. Okay, so not this one, Gen 1 from this side. Okay, let's see, let's try to close the circuit. This works. Okay. So with the second one, there should be blinking. So this is the same that we had before. And this means that we have to adjust the frequency. Okay, blinking stopped. So we can also close this circuit. Okay. Last one, blinking, adjusting the frequency. So it stops blinking. I think it's the wrong direction. Maybe it's still, no, it's fine. Close it. Okay. And now we are on generators. Let's change the essential power to generators. Okay. So let's proceed. Second galley that I don't think we have installed here. Other stuff. Let me just do a quick sweep of everything that we have here. And now that we also have bleed air from the engines, we can close the one from the center. That is also the APU one. Let's turn off the packs, like so air conditioning and pressurization in this case. They recommend to wait a minute to not give too much load on the system, right, between 1 and 2. Cargo heat outflow, Gasper fans so are like those small fans, right? And second pack can come on. Okay. So this we have set up. I will just then need later to check the landing altitude. Maybe I can do it now because I will for sure forget it. Airports, yeah. And like the destination one is SBPA. And the general info. Okay, and there should be like elevation here, elevation 30. Okay, so very low, close to what we have set even. Yeah, so let's round up to 100 in this case. And now let's make sure we have the windows closed. We do. We can pressurize the plane. There should be a flight switch. Let me just see, where are you? Here, from ground to flight. Okay, and now we can turn on all of the pumps in our tanks. Okay, and now also the second hydraulic system. It's very nice that you have those lights so you can see if something is left, right? So then it's most of the time just like there is a light for it. And now we can turn off, it's already tripped, right? So it's not connected to the circuits anymore. So you just can close it. And it will just come down. Let's go to outside view. Oops. Why are those? I hope there will be no problem with this one. I don't remember it working like this, but we will see. Normally it's pretty nice to taxi. It's telling us that we need like auto brakes or ejected takeoff, like in most planes. And let's just see the EFB, what we have to set for flaps here. Flaps 15. Okay. So those calculations are for flaps 15. So let's just use those. Look. We need to wait until like the leading edge flaps are totally deployed. So those ones on the front, you can see they are deploying very slowly. Okay, green, and now we can proceed further. Left flaps. Right. It's an old 727 joke. Okay, and 15. It's much slower, which as far as I know is like also realistic. Okay, in this case I think we can start rolling. Let me just give you an outside view. I just love the form of this plane. Looks amazing. Then later when we will be in flight I will show you like an inspirational video that kind of started my interest in this plane. Okay, but for now I think we can just proceed. So, parking brake off. Let's just start moving. It's pretty easy to taxi. It feels very heavy. Just need to apply some brakes. Okay, so this is our runway. Let me see if we cannot like enter the runway from here to have a longer takeoff roll. And now I have the old one. I really need to like pin them, right? So I don't need to change back and forth between those. Let me just see, maybe I can see it like this. Yeah, so let's just enter the runway through here. SimBrief most of the time kind of loads this plane almost fully, which isn't really helping. Like when it comes to the power, those are not the newest engine on the 727s. Actually, FSS, so the developer, is now releasing, like in the coming days, a paid expansion for this one that provides like a newer version of the 727. There are like some changes to the avionics, to the displays, but also like a different type of engines. Oh, why is it splitting? That's strange. Oh, okay, because one is if you want to just like cross the runway. Okay, turn. Okay. Just center it a little bit. Okay. And this one should do the trick. So, landing lights, runway turn off. Oh, I forgot about the taxi light because I was waiting for the crew. Okay, strobe light, logger is no longer needed. Another sweep here, anti-skid now for the start and landing later. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Let's take a look at the panel here. Always check if you are pressurized at FLT because it's easy to forget. And no lights here, no lights here. We do have fuel. It's very easy to forget fuel in this one because the standard setting in the EFB is really low, right? So you will start with not enough if you have not changed it. So in this case we have 10, 11, 11, so 32 LBS, right? So this is as much as I had in the flight plan from what I can remember. Okay. So, right, let's not occupy the runway if we don't need to. Let me check the engines. Everything seems to be working fine. I'm just like on the brakes now. Okay. It's oscillating around the engine setting that we need, but it should be fine. The SOC shows pretty much no wind, right? Very weak wind from the left side. Okay, thank you, co-pilot. Okay, so you can see we do have a lot of... Okay, let's rotate.
Positive rate.
Thank you. So actually it looked like we barely made it, which is strange because this runway wasn't like so short, right? Either way, let's proceed to the VOR that we have set up. Let's say I don't see like a DME the distance here, but I do see, oh here, sorry, because it's if it's on F1 it's here, like 15 miles. Okay, we have gear up. Let's just operate the flaps. To be honest, I don't see that much, so we will have to like turn on some lights soon. Let me just adjust the engine power because it's a little bit low. Okay. Some more flaps. It's pretty stable, so what I'm doing now should be fine. We are at 2000 feet climbing, and we should climb at around 250, so this is still fine. Okay, and the next turn will be 250. Okay. So let's just move the nose down. You can see the trim working. And let's just change the course needle to 250. And I will just show you why it is being done once we are on track. Okay. So we are nearing 250, right? Just move the nose down a little bit more. And autopilot on. Okay. And let him keep the speed. IS hold. Okay. It should settle in. We have a lot of power now. We can reduce it after the takeoff just a little bit. And it's like 6 miles to the VOR, 7 in this case. Okay, so we are climbing. Let me just make sure the heading back is centered. It is. Okay. And here we have heading select, and I have clicked it now. You can use vertical speed and move it up a little bit or a little bit down, just so we will gain the speed. As I said, for climbing we need around 250. Okay. So I'm moving the nose down, vertical speed goes down, but the speed moves up. Okay. 3 nautical miles. We can turn a little bit on the heading. I mean on the course that we want to use, to make it easier for the navigation system to catch it. Okay. Let's put the nose down a little bit more to gain some speed, because we want those 250. And we will be catching this one soon, hopefully. Okay. So almost at 250, nose down a little bit more. Okay, I was explaining it, so obviously I've missed it. It's not a problem. We'll just move back and correct it. Okay, 250, IAS hold. Okay. Let's use altitude select, because we do have the destination altitude that we want. Click. Okay. This is the instrument that they have fixed. It's showing the direction to the VOR, right, that we are using now. We are over 10,000, so let's accelerate to 300. So vertical speed and nose down. Okay, you want this one to reach 300. Some more nose down. This is starting to move, so we can use here nav lock. It's pretty much like the nav function that we know from other planes. It will catch the radio. I just need some more nose down, it seems. Let me reduce. I think we are on optimal climb power, yeah, because the back is here. In the meantime, it should be now done, I think, most of it automatically. So I will try to find some lights here to make it illuminated, because I also cannot see much. Let me try to remember where it was. Here. And overhead panel. Okay, so we don't need the landing lights, we don't need the taxi light, the runway lights, the rest stays up. Oops. Okay, so we are at 300, IAS hold, we want to climb with 300 until we are at our final altitude, and we need to watch out because you always need to remember, if you change the altitude, to also re-click on this one. And also, when we wanted heading mode to be clickable, we had to have like the center position here. Once we change to nav, it's no longer possible to click on heading. Okay. So let us set up our next VOR. Let me just show it to you here. So what we had done was pretty much starting with runway heading, then I changed the course to 250, and once we have overflown this VOR, we did change to this one, right? So now we are flying in this direction completely. The next VOR that we will be needing will be 114.1. Okay, so let me just use it here. 114.1. And here as the next one, 114. Okay, so this is active nav 2 and this is standby nav 1. 114.1. Let me double check. 114.1. Let's hope this one works, because we don't have a reading yet. Okay, let me just see what the distance is supposed to be to this one. Okay, 140 miles. So this is normal for the VOR to not pick up at such a distance. So this is fine. So we are still flying using the navigation provided by the one behind our back in this case. Let me just center the heading back. Okay, and we are climbing with 2000 feet per minute. Okay, this is all fine, this is fine, this is fine. Let's see if I haven't forgotten anything. Let's move it to standby. You can see off position. You need to be very careful with it, using like the scroll wheel very gently, because it's easy to move it down again if you want to move it to standby. Okay. Let's do a check. Okay, we can see this is rising. Okay. I mean, it should be fine because this is the difference, right? So if it's racing, then it's fine. Yeah, and we should be around cabin altitude 5,200, which I guess it's here, right? Between 0 and 10. So everything checks out. So one thing that we have to do here, the engineer needs to do, is closing the pack inflows, right? The pack air inflows. The higher we are and the closer, the colder it gets. And it's actually shown on the plane. Well, let me show you. Outside view might be loud. Or not. So this is this one. And you can see one is a little bit more close than the other one. This is because we have just done it, right? And let's also do like a half close here. Okay, for cruise, it needs to be totally closed. If you use this like automatic engineer from here, it will just do it for you. Okay. So according to the manual, the online manual here, above 20,000 we should change to 290. Okay, so we are here, so let's change to 290. So in order to do this, we will need to raise the nose, right? So vertical speed, a little bit up. Okay, so the vertical speed will increase, but the speed should decrease. Okay. Okay, so 290 is probably, well, not yet. Okay, so wait, let's wait a moment. And here we have like a flight director, but it's not having an influence on what the plane is doing. It's just like for information. So I like to set it to the heading. So I just know if my heading back is centered or not. Okay, 390. Okay, ILS. So indicated airspeed. Okay, and we are already 50 miles out from the VOR that was close to the airport, but we still haven't picked up the next one. But we are on the line where we should be. And here we can see it's the direction to the VOR that we have left behind. Okay, and we are nicely climbing. I should have changed this to 990, right? To standard altitude. To standard altimeter setting. To 992. That's it. Because we went over, I'm actually not sure what the transition altitude is for Brazil, but let's just use the US one, that is 18,000. And in the meantime, it will be a little bit till we will like fly those 140 miles, right? So let me make it a little bit more silent. Just a second, settings, sound, headphone simulation. And let me show you the video that has like awoken my interest in the 727. Okay. Okay, so like for me, it's like one of the coolest thing I have seen. Obviously, many people have concerns that it was like the reality and that it was careless. So from what I know, like the context was that there was a war, right? And there were some like rebels around the airport because it was in Mogadishu, and it's not safe to do a full go around, right? Going over the airport and over the city. So they had to do it over the sea. If it's true, I don't know. I just prefer to believe it because it looked really cool, right? And this is also why I got interested in this old plane. Let me just turn the sound back on. Sound headphone simulation. Okay. Let me give you like an outside view. Maybe not this one. I really like the form of this plane. Actually, this is probably not the coolest scenery, but it's the only one that I could find in the like standard pack that was close to Brazil, right? The DHL look pretty nice, and the UPS ones, so they are pretty like universal. You can use them for a lot of stuff. Here I'm starting to getting concerns because we are already 80 miles out and we still haven't picked up the next VOR. So there is a slight chance that it will not be there, that it will not be active still. Let's just double check. And just move out. Yes, it should be 150 miles out, and this is 114.1. So some of those are only very short range, so we might pick them up when being like 40 miles away. 114.8, which is active nav2, so should appear here. And again, this one. This is not much of a problem because there are a lot of additional VORs that we can use. Still, it would be nicer if it would work. And we can add some power because we are under the back, at least for the center engine. Okay, co-pilot, thank you. Here you can see alt select is armed, but is not reached yet, and we are on the radio. Okay. So let me just check if everything is fine. It seems to be fine. When it comes to the engineering station and the tanks, there is a lot of different setups possible here. So, for example, with this one, they are all connected. Like all of the engines are feeding from all of the tanks, right? So it's like cross-feed is open. From what I know, it's recommended to do direct feed when close to the landing. So like every engine feeding from every tank, its own tank. But I'm not sure if I want to try it out this flight because I'm not exactly sure how the configuration was for it to make it happen. I think it's just enough to close those two valves, right? So then it's this engine from its own tank, this engine from its own tank, and this engine with nothing left to pull the engine from is also from its own tank. Actually, we do have some time, so we can check it in the manual. Let me just see here. Okay, so it might be hidden among some of those. Let me just view here. Okay, tank to engine. The tank to engine configuration isolates each engine to its respective main tank. This procedure is used when the fuel quantity in all tanks is equal. Let me check. 999. Okay. Okay, so we have all boost pumps on. We close number 1 and number 3 cross-feed valves. So let's do it. Click. Okay. Let's wait for it. Okay. Click. Let's wait for it. Okay. And number 2 cross-feed should be open. So we have it open. Check that the fuel is used in approximately equal from all tanks. Yeah. Should be fine. So this one is open, those are closed, and we will just monitor it if we haven't messed it up. Okay, let's go back. Still no reading here. 40 miles to go, and now this has awoken, right? So this is like a shorter range VOR. We are at our altitude, so let me just reduce the engine power a little bit so we don't go over the speed here. Okay, so in this case, we will soon lose this VOR that is behind us. Okay, so let's change to heading hold. So center, heading select. Okay. And now we can switch to the second VOR. Okay, so we have it prepared here, click, click, and now here we have the range to the VOR, and we can once again proceed with the navigation on the radio. And we have like a clearer reading because this VOR is like closer than the other one. Okay, so in the meantime we can prepare for the VOR change. So let me just here. Okay, so the next course that we will have is 201, and the next VOR will be 113.4. Okay, so let's make like here 113.4. Okay, and 113.4. Oh, okay. I know why it's moving because I changed it on the wrong side. Okay. 113.4. So stand by 113.4 and main nav2 113.4. Just double check. 113.4. 113.4. So really? 116.7. I messed it up, okay, because I changed it in the wrong place. So again, too much talking, not enough aviating. 114.1. 114.1. Okay. Now we have the one that we are closing to, right? Okay. And now in the other one, we will need this 113.4. So in the standby. Especially like if you fly modern airliners that have the standby always on the same side and the active on the other side, it can be really confusing if you can set it up to whatever one you need, right, to be on. Okay. So we have 19 miles to this one, and then once we fly a little bit, we will just change to this one. Okay. Makes sense. Hopefully. Okay, so let's slowly change to the heading because we are very fast. I can just show you, there is an indication here. So TAS is 400, so I would just assume that like the ground speed is even higher. There are ways to calculate it. I don't think we need seat belts anymore, even if you would have passengers. Okay, let me reduce the power a little bit because I think we are still nearing this limit here. It's in general like a very fast plane, right? It's faster than some of the current airliners. Okay, let's switch to heading. Here, here. Okay, now let's set up the new course that we need here, course 201. I really need to look up the pronunciation of course. Okay, 201. And as we are going around 400, I guess, we should start our turn when it will be around 4 miles. Just like some helper for the calculations. Okay. It has picked up nav2, so the one that we will be flying to. I think we can move to 114. I'm not sure if this one that we have set up now, 114.1, is fully functional, right? Because the DME seems to be working, but I don't think that the deviation needle, the CDI, was working here. It doesn't seem so, right? So it might be one of the ones that are bugged, or like it's half decommissioned already. Okay, so I would say after around 20 miles, we would just change to nav2, because it should provide us like the correct needle with this deviation display here. Okay. When it comes to INS, it's kind of a very proto form of GPS, obviously not using satellites, and it can also be a lot of fun. That saying, I do prefer radio navigation, because for me it's just more fun than typing in the exact like coordinates of points in the area, right? This is like more active, more fun, especially when it's not working and you have to improvise. Partially, like the reason why it's not working is, as I said, because they are getting decommissioned, right? Or maybe there are like some bugs in addition to that in MSFS, but also because I'm using the like real map, so this one that is still having those. But if you would use something like little nav map, the one for like simulators, it has like function to only feed from what you have in your simulator, right? So it shouldn't provide VORs that are not there in the sim. So I was testing it before. It was not always right. Sometimes like the ranges of those VORs were different and stuff, but it was more often right than SkyVector. That saying, I do like SkyVector. It's just very fast to use. Okay, so I guess we can just change to this one. We are on heading, so let's just change to 113.4. Okay, now this indication should be the same as this one, and we do have this deviation display here. Okay, so let me go over to nav so it can catch it. Click. And we are now moving into the direction of the VOR. Already, let's set up the other one. So we are now moving to this one, and the next one will be, have I used this one? Maybe I should. How long is this distance here? 196, so actually we should be using this one and this one probably, but I don't want to like prolong it even more, so let me just use this one. 112.9. Okay. Okay, so still some time to go. This one now shows directly the source of nav1, direction to it. This will be very helpful when we will be maneuvering around the destination airport. Let me do a double check of the fuel if we have not messed it up. Also, let's center the heading. This is, as I said here, because I prefer this indication, because I most often want to know if like heading is centered for those like short moments where I need to change from navigation sources and need to use heading. Okay. Let's do an outside view quickly. I really like it. As I said, I think the best looking one is probably like an old UPS livery, but I'm not sure if it's in the pack or you have to download it, but I can really recommend it. Okay, let's go to the fuel. Okay, we still have some fuel left, so 8, 8, 8, right, perfect, so it did work. Let's take a look here. Okay, so there can be some oscillations here. This is fine. We have the maximum difference between outside and inside, which is also what we want to have. This is why we have set it up by hand, right? If we would leave it 6,000, this would be a little bit smaller. But according to this table, we are in the optimal place. Okay, so we are in cruise, so something that we should have done like some time ago. If I would not be talking, I would be closing this one. Especially if it's like very cold outside. This is needed for the packs, so the conditioning units and pressurizing units do not get too cold, right? They should be always close to 100 degrees. Okay, and let me show you from the outside. Okay. So as you can see, those are now closed. Actually, in Explain, like my first 727 was in Explain, there is like a great one with failures, with wear and tear, with some like amazing sounds. Sadly, it was not ported to the newest version of Explain yet. It's only for Explain 11, but maybe someday. When I would compare this one to the other one, it's not easy because, like as I said, I really like wear and tear, failures and stuff, especially since in the other one all of those indicators could fail, which is really distracting and really confusing. For example, I had those, where are the ones? Maybe not those lights. I guess I had those lights fail, right? So one of the wheels was not displaying as deployed correctly, right? So then you don't know if you can land or not. And also there might be something that you forgot about, but the light will not light up because the bulb is burnt out, right? So it was a really great functionality in the other plane. That saying, there is a lot of stuff that is simulated here that was not there. For example, this synchronizing of the generators, right? That was not there in the other one. That saying, the one in Explain was like improved over many versions also of the sim, and this is pretty new. So maybe we can still expect to get something similar. As far as I know, SVS, so another developer for MSFS, is also working on a 727. I think together with FS Reborn, that is doing those like high fidelity smaller planes, so you will see what they can offer. For now, I'm like 90% satisfied with this one. It's getting like better with every patch. I don't really have many additional expectations. Okay, so 50 miles to the next one. You can just double check which one it will be, 113.4. Just so I remember where we are, 113.4. Okay, so after this one we will do the turn to 244. And here we will probably start descending. Okay, so you probably know it from like other streams, but this will not calculate our descent. I think there might be like a function here. You can just check it. Yeah, you can calculate it here, or there is also like an easy way to do it in your head, I guess. So let's say we will want to go down to 4,000 feet, right? And we are at 34,000 feet. So we just take the difference, which is for 30,000 feet, and multiply it by 3. Okay, so this would be 90,000 feet, taking away the zeros, so this is 90 miles away, right? So in this case, if we would want to go down to 4,000, we should start descent plus minus 90 miles up. So 3 times the difference, right? Okay, let's enter the heading. And once we are at this VOR, I will slowly brief you on the approach, which might be one of the most difficult approaches that I have done, but we will just see. Let me check if the wind is still favoring this one. Yeah, sadly. So the wind is blowing from direction 100, so from here, so we will need to land from this direction. Okay. And there is also an NDB, which is another radio navigation aid, 330, so I will set it up before I forget it, 330. Oops. Okay, so let's wait around 25 miles, and then I will just change the course to the next VOR. And this will be, the next one will be the destination one, and we will need to prepare them. Okay, fine, no icing. I did promise you that like the coast of Brazil looks great, but I don't think there is much to see. Let me go out. Yeah, sadly. I could change the weather, but I do like really prefer to fly with natural weather, especially since then the meter that you are getting is also accurate, right? It's like not fantasy weather. Transponder, we are not really flying online, but still I should have done it, right? In the new version, this expansion pack that is now coming from FSS, there will be TCAS here. So if you are online flying, the new version might be like more useful for you because you will be able to see other planes. At least the ones that are so close to you, they might be like a potential risk, right? Let me see if we have set up everything correctly. This is like a thing with radio navigation that like it's easy to mess up all of those like numbers. Normally in the cockpit there are two people that are making sure that you have the correct one. And actually I think I need this one, because this one is the base for the approach. We will just double check in a second. Okay, so SBPA. It's already SBPA. Approach, our nightmare approach. And the base for this approach is the VOR 114.7 FIG. 114.7 FIG. Okay. But I think we have set up this one for now. 112.9. Okay, you see 112.9 on standby and 112.9 on active NAVTOR. I'm not sure why I'm like flying those masochistic like approaches when with you. It wasn't my choice. I was hoping from the wind from the other side that was making the approach very easy. Okay. Okay. So I guess I can already prepare because it is a very fast plane, right? So we need more margin to do everything. Okay. And select. And now let's change the course needed for 112.9er. Okay, which is 244. Okay, so I really like this one. This is something that is missing for me in the Error Star that we were flying like the last time. That like it's really easy to get confused and like choose the wrong position here, right? Especially if a lot of it is going on. And here you can just see it, which is perfect. Okay, So it does seem like we are in the cone of confusion already, despite being 6 miles out, because it's kind of getting broader the higher you are. It's a cone, right, starting from the ground. So I guess we can already. Let me see if we can see anything below us. Not really, not really. Okay, and let's start briefing the approach. So, let me just see. So the minimum safe altitude is 4,000, so this is what we will go down to. We will be at 4,000 over the VOR, and then we will move out with the heading. We can actually choose if we want to go here and here, or if we want to go here and here. Given that we are coming from here, it might be nicer to just join here. That's saying we will have less time to stabilize and set everything up on this DME arc here. Yeah, I guess let's try this one. If we fail, then at least you will see what can happen. Okay. So 4,000 at peak. Okay, although, wait a second. If we would join here, we would need to be at 6,000, but for this one, oh, it's 4,000, so it's perfect. So we can just arrive at 4,000 and then be at 4,000 here at the initial approach fix, and then move like this one. Okay. At least we can try. Okay, a lot of talking. We'll just move here. We still haven't picked up the next one, right? So let's stay on the one that is behind us. As far as I remember, this was around 180 miles, right, to the airport. So we still have 90 miles of flight before we should start descending. Okay, let me just switch to nav log. Let's make sure that we fly the correct heading, 244. Here. I guess I can turn this off, turn my channel off, and turn this on. So it will be easy. This is showing a different altitude because we haven't set up like the barrel here. Okay, let's check the fuel. Fuel is fine, we have enough, everything has worked out here, this is nice. No problems here, this is oscillating, which is fine. Let me just get some light here. This one has some like amazing night lighting. You can set up a lot of stuff, like especially the red light is great. And this was the same like the one in X-Plane. And all of those like, not buttons, right, but those indicator lights also look great when it's dark. Maybe we will do like a night flight, right, or an evening flight in the future. So I will show you. Okay, let's just center the heading back. Okay. But we are on nav, right? Okay, 30 miles out, so let me do some calculations then. So it's actually 168, but this one, but then it's another 22 to this one. Right? So it's almost 190, and we need 90, right? So once we are 100 away from the one behind us, we will just start the descent to 4,000 feet. Let me check the speed. It's 500 actually now. So we are flying very fast. The plane is pretty much like a rocket, right? Despite it being pretty old. And we have picked up the next localizer. So once we are around like 80 away, we will just switch to this one. When it comes to SkyVector, on some in some places around the world where like VORs are used still often, on those here charts that you can see, there will be also places marked between VORs where it's recommended to switch from one VOR to the other. Here I was looking for it. It's kind of like a zippy line, I guess, a zigzag line, but I couldn't see it. So if you see it on the chart, this is like the place where they recommend to switch from the one behind you to the one like in front of you. Okay. So maybe let's switch when it will be like at 100, just so we will have more time for the other stuff. We can talk about the approach. So this is the dreaded like DME arc. We are pretty much joining like at the initial approach fix, so here or here, right? And then you need to use the heading function and by hand move along this line, trying to keep like a constant distance from the VOR, right? So it should be always around 21. And this way, once you cross this course, I don't know, you're kind of leaving the arc and approaching the runway. Let me see if there is like even an ILS. Yeah, so there is an ILS, so we will also have to set up the ILS, right? Because sadly the ILS approach is GPS based. There is no like information about it being based on VOR information. There is a second one, but here the arcs are even shorter, right? So there is even less time to fly, and with this plane that is very fast and like very slow to adjust, this will be too risky. So I prefer to do this one. So we'll probably do this one and then switch to the ILS. Let me just look at the map, how much room we will have. Okay, here's the river, and here is the river. So the ILS is here, so the ILS is here, around Isepa. Right? Okay. Sadly, this is something that you have to do when like flying with radio navigation. Many of those approaches, those arrivals, all of the optimal ones, are no longer like based on radio navigation aids, but this makes it more fun, right? So pretty much every flight is thinking and every flight is like a small adventure, so this is why I prefer it. Obviously, when I'm flying like my modern airliners, I'm not flying with VORs, although it would be possible. Okay, this seems fine. Okay, 100 miles, so as I said, I will want to switch to nav2. Let me make sure heading is centered. It is. Click the tick, heading select. And nav2 is 112.9, 112.9, changing to active. Okay, so now the readings should be the same because they are the same. Okay. And now we can go back to nav mode. And we can set up the next VOR. Okay. So this one we have set up now. So this is the one that will be the base for the crazy stuff that we will be doing now. So 114.7. I was hoping the wind would be from here, then we would just go here and just land. Right? Sadly, at least it will be more interesting. And 114.7. To stand by 114.7. And this will be the active one here. Okay. Let's adjust the heading. Click. Okay. Okay, so we are 120 miles out, around, from the destination airport. Oh no, because, so we are that much out, because I changed it now, right? So when it will be at 100, we will start the descent. So let me set up the destination altitude, 4,000. Okay. So once again, this is like this ugly effect that they have chosen to use. But as you could see during the flight, it's like, as I said in the beginning, right, one of the very, very few problems that this plane has. So I'm fine with ignoring it, but just making a bad impression if you launch it like for the first time and have paid money for it and was expecting like AAA quality. Okay. So I guess we can initiate the descent here. So we are at vertical speed, okay? So we are just moving this one down, and let's reduce the speed first. So let's reduce the power a little bit. Okay. Reducing now. Okay. No. Let's just descend. Are we descending or are we not descending? Oh, because we are on altitude here. So now it's it will be tracking this one. Okay. Moving. Okay, a little bit too sharp. It's great that we don't have any passengers. As with the Aerostar, right? Turning the wheel is not like my favorite thing to do, because it's not like very stable. Okay. You should be going down at around 2,000. Okay, and let me now monitor the speed. I think it's going up, so let's reduce the power a little bit more. Let's take a look outside. Okay. We can even see some of the ground. Great. Okay. And the only thing that we need to watch out for is to reduce to 250 when close to 10,000, right? As in any other airline. Let me just correct this one a little bit. Let me make sure that altitude selected is selected correctly, so it will catch those 4,000. Let's adjust the heading. Okay. Okay, so it might be that when close to the VOR, I will already start reducing the speed, putting flaps out and stuff, so that the plane will be slower, right? And that we will have more time to react on this like complicated approach. So ADF will show us the direction to this NDB that we have set up that is directly at the airport. But it's pretty short range, so it should like go active in a couple of minutes. Let's adjust the vertical speed, make sure we are not too fast, we are not, that's fine. Okay, let's see if we don't have any lights here, if everything is fine. Landing altitude was set, we are going down. This is fine, this is fine. Fine. Okay. Might work. Let's check what the barrel amount will be, right? Okay. 1026. Okay, 1026. As we will be descending to like the final altitude, we can change it already. It won't make a difference because we are not planning to do any stops along the way. And I already forgot. 1026. And so they are using like the European version here. So 1026 hectopascal. So 1026. Seems to work out for now. You will go into the clouds, so maybe you will consider engine on the ice. Let me just see how cold it actually is. So here, total air temperature. Is it like it's 0, it's 10, so this is -5. But this is like warmed up by the impact of the plane, right? So it's not set. But still, seems to be pretty warm. At this height, okay, maybe I'm just reading it wrong again, but I think I'm reading it correctly. I'm 16 miles out before we will start doing this funny approach. Actually, at this time, we can already probably navigate to the VOR that we want to arrive at, right? So in this case, this is TQA, so I will just remove TQA. Okay. Let's hope this will work. Okay. And our new radial that we want to follow, we will switch to this one, will be 242. Okay, so first let me go to heading. I'm not sure if I'm not making it too complicated now, but I will see. Okay. So now let's switch to the destination VOR. Okay. Okay, and now we will want 242. Okay. So we don't need a big correction. Okay. And we are now directly heading for this FIG, FIG, right? This one, 114.7. Just check it. 114.7, 114.7. This also means that we have enough tool free now to do some other stuff with it. So we can just use the ILS already. Okay, so ILS is 110.3. 110.3. 110.3 and 110.3. Okay, let's just increase this one so we catch it faster. ILS is still not picked up, it's normally around 25 miles, but we can pick it up, so this is fine. And we have 46 miles to the VOR where we need to start doing all of the strange stuff. Let's increase it a bit more so that we will be guaranteed to arrive at the VOR at 4000. And here I think I can already use nav, it should catch it. Click. Okay, so it's already 10 degrees despite being like so high up, so I don't think we should fear icing in this situation. That's saying if you would need anti-AIs, like engine ATIs, it's actually here. Is it? Yeah, here, engine 1, engine 2, engine 3. Okay, so slowly we can prepare for the landing. Let me just see how long the runway is. We are pretty heavy. As you could see, we barely have taken off, right? Okay, so pretty long runway, so we will just select minimum brakes, like in an airliner, right? Fasten seat belts, because later there will be no time. Okay, fine. Okay, we are at 15. I will reduce the speed, because we need to go down to 215 at 10,000. And we will also probably use like air brakes. Yeah, this is often the case because this plane is like pretty slippery and it often needs those. Okay, so I think now is a good time to use the air brakes. We're at 100. They are pretty effective. Let me show them to you. Maybe let's talk also about the performance about this one. So like FPS, it's somewhere in the middle, right? It's not as optimized as PMDG airliners, but it's not as bad as the A350, right? So you still shouldn't have like a very weak computer to be able to run it like in a comfortable way. But on the channel you can see my hardware setup, and it's pretty much like lower mid-range, I guess. And as you can see, I hope it will be visible, it's pretty fluid, right? Okay, so we are down to kind of the speed that we need at the place where we need, so great. Landing lights. I will also already do the taxi stuff, so then there might not be enough time. Right. And let's see if we have altitude hold. Yeah, at 4,000. That's armed, so we don't run into the ground. Okay. 20 miles, so pretty comfortable. You can just settle on the 4,000 feet height and prepare for the maneuvering. Okay, let me center the back. You can reduce the vertical speed a little bit. Give the autopilot like the chance to even out at 4,000, as we still have some like room left here. I can try to turn off the air brake, but I'm afraid it might be too early, so let's just make half. Okay, 20 miles out. Let me just take a look at the approach once again. 109. It's a 264. Once we reach this one, we will just move to 264. And we are coming from here, so it shouldn't be that difficult. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can see something. Just move to the other side. Okay. I think I can maybe risk it. Okay, but let's just monitor this one. Yes, so till now everything is perfect. I'm very happy, but we will see how this will continue. let me just try to remember all of the settings for the flaps, where we can start deploying them. Okay, so all of them are above 200, so this should be fine. We should go to 20 while still being above 200. Okay, so that's perfect. I can reduce the speed a little bit more, just not too much, because if we will even out at 4000, we will obviously lose some speed. Yeah. Thanks, Copilot. So this is when they kind of recommend to start like slowly opening them. Actually, when like the flaps are getting deployed and you are getting slower. I don't think that we have much time for this one because it's very slow. So just so you know, if you will have the time, right, then slowly you will have to close them, right? Oh, and we are getting like faster and faster, almost reaching the frame zero. Okay, but we have now catched 4000. Let me switch to heading mode. Now it gets serious. Okay. And I think we need 246. Sorry, 246. Did I change the heading? Yeah. Okay. Too much talking, not enough aviating. Still, that's fine. So we still have the radial here, 246, we can double check, at 264, okay. Accident waiting to happen, 264. Okay, so luckily we have 21 miles to correct everything. Okay, overcorrecting, too much speaking, not enough aviating. Whoops, it was like a very discerning lag for a moment. Like it was about to crash. Oh, because it's 3,900. Okay. I was afraid. We need to add power. Okay. And we can start adding the flaps. Okay, so now we have 264 and we are looking for 21. Okay. We have catched it. Going to math. Nice. So we will be going here until we are 21 away, and then we'll initiate the move. And you can see now it's for, this is why they changed this type of altimeters. They are no longer provided, because with those you don't know if you are not like 1000 too high or too low. Okay. So we are stable on 264 and we have the right speed. Okay, and this is the river that we will turn on, I guess. Okay, let me just check if everything is ready. Should be. We are picking up the ILS, right? So the airport should be close to us. Let me just show you. Somewhere there, I guess. Yeah, we will see. Okay, so the airport is there. According to the IDF, it should be there. Okay, Okay, let me get some more flaps. Flaps 5. Okay, and we are looking for around, I don't know, 16 to go on the arc. Okay, let's double check 264 to join via VOR. Okay, and now we're getting too slow again. Okay, analog flying. Next step. Okay, nice and steady. Okay, 21. So still, we need to go over the river. We can do like the landing calculations. Landing. Okay, let's just this set speed, set EPI. We have like a copilot for this one, and the bugs are set for that. Now let me just double check what the flaps setting was selected. 30. Okay, 13, I guess, so still some way out. Let me take like a visual look. So we will just join right after the river, and then we will need to go up. Okay. Are we joining at 4,000? Yes, but then we will have to reduce it like quickly to 2,000. So let me set up 2,000. Oh joy, oh joy. Okay. Is this 15? Yeah. Oh, obviously, right. Why do I need visibility for it? Okay. That's fine. I can live with that. Let me just check the final one, 109. And let's see if we have like prepared it for the ILS. So 109 and 110.3. 110.3, it's in standby and it's the main. Okay. And we're at 18, so I think we can start turning. Okay, let's change the heading. Whoops, not this one. Heading. Slowly. So we need to be at 21. And we can already, now that it is free, we can set it up to the final heading, like final approach heading. Maybe I did it a little bit too early because we don't have that much speed, so let me just add some speed. Okay. And I guess the final approach was 109, so let's set it up already. Loop. It's not helping. 100. Okay, 20 miles out. So now we are joining the DME arc. Nice. Let's reduce flaps to 20. Oh, and we need to descend to 2,000. Okay. Cannot be too easy. Descending to 2,000. Okay. Boom. We need to keep like the distance of 21. Okay, we are going down. I think this is the one pointing to the airport. Yeah, because it's IDF, so it's the MDB set. Okay, so we are still at 21. Reducing height to 2000. Taking a look, maybe you will be able to see it, then it's easier to know when we will have to turn. I guess it's this one, possibly. So it might be pretty close. Oh, okay, it's going down. So now we can join this one. Okay. So what has happened is that we were like flying here, 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 and now we are joining this approach. Whew. We are getting a little bit too fast, so let's reduce. We are almost at 2000. Let's just increase. Yeah, this is fine. We have catch 2000. This is nice. Let's change to nav. Okay. So joining the localizer, making sure 109 is okay, 109 is okay, 109 is okay. And now we need to go to 1660, because why not? Okay. Okay. So let me do just like this, so it'll be easier. Okay, let's not fly it into the ground. Okay. So we are still 20 miles out, so we do have time. And what did I want to do? Okay, I wanted to descend 1660. Whoops. Okay. Okay, this actually worked out. The problem is that, like, as far as I can see, this is the runway. 109. Okay, we are 109. Okay, this is interesting. What could have done? Oh, okay, I know. Well, it was almost a success, so let me just do it by hand then. Obviously I will explain everything in a moment. It's just the gear part, right? Okay. Sure. Okay. Let me just see if we got the gear down. We do. So we will do it like they have done on the video. Sorry for that. The mistake here was not switching to the ILS. So we were still on the radio to the VOR, which was off center, right? Let me just make sure we will be adding some speed. We will go to roll. Adding power. Removing power. Glide slope is below us. Too much talking, not enough. Okay.
Glide slope. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay. Deploying brakes. Coming back to the center line. Using reverse thrust. Okay, applying manual braking. Okay. And we are there. 99% of the approach was correct, so I still will tell people this was a success. I'm not sure, this may be the first DME arc that I'm doing like in a big airplane that needs a lot of like clicking around, and most of the ones that I have done were the one in the Cessna 310, where I have like done this around the world tour with it. So let me just set everything up. Okay. Just park here for a minute. I just love how it looks like with everything deployed. Right. Either way, let's not change the topic. Oops. Not this lever. I will do it like this one. Okay, let's start the APU. Okay. We don't need this anti-skid because we have already landed. So come off. Oh, come on. Okay. So landing clamps off, stroke off. Transponder goes to standby. Is there standby? So just on. Okay. Others. Okay, we don't need window heating anymore. Well, we can proceed then. I haven't found like a cargo section on this one, so we will just taxi here. Let me just check. Remote apron. Oh, cargo terminal was here. Okay. Okay, but we are here already, so let's not change that. Plane selection is always great in MSFS. And just reduce the speed a little bit because we will want probably to take somewhere here. Okay, so let's maybe park here. We will just pretend this is like a cargo stand. I really really like the sounds. It's really like sounding like an old airplane. There's a lot of like squeaking and stuff. Oh, nice. So when it comes to shutting it off, we will have to like move it to the APU, which is not on. So let's just open up. So we need to kind of turn off a lot of systems to not overload the APU because it cannot take everything that the engines can. So this one, this we can move to the ground with the pressurized plane. We only need one pack, so we can also take this away. Okay. And I think we might be ready here. Is it on? Not yet. Oops, sorry. Let me see if it's generating electricity. So here, blue. Yeah, seems to be stable. Okay, so we go to the GPU and we just close the circuit again. And here you can see the GPU load. It shouldn't be too high. And the one in X-Plane, it was you could burn out the APU if there was too much load when switching. Okay. Good. Sorry. So here, let me open APU bleed. This changes to APU, and this can also stay on APU. You can also turn off the majority of the pumps. And now we can just turn off the engines. First, I guess we have some lights left that are not needed. Okay, so I'm keeping the beacon. And let's just turn it off. I really like this sound effect at the end, and also interesting fact the APU is here, because obviously there is no room here because it's the third engine here. Okay, so now guys, let's maybe do a briefing of what has happened. Okay, so we arrived here correctly, we went here, arrived here correctly, done a beautiful DME arc, not leaving 21 pretty much for the whole time. Then we actually correctly moved to 109, and by here everything was like still correct. Sadly, I forgot that still NAV1 was this one, so it was showing like a very long distance to this one. When I was close, I should have changed to NAV2. So from this VOR that was at NAV1 to this ILS that would bring us, that would start here, right, and would bring us directly to the runway. So one click, well, less than needed in this case. I hope you guys still had fun, and I was able to present this like amazing aircraft, really. Over the years I have like seen a lot of planes and stuff, but this is one of the most immersive ones, and it's just so much fun. It's a big workload like you have seen here, but at the same time like nobody sane is flying like DME arc approaches with an airliner nowadays, at least not frequently. So what you saw here will not get more complicated than we have done here pretty much. And like most of the time with most of the approaches it will be much easier. In this case I was actually planning for just moving here, joining the ILS and land. And if the wind will be favorable, this is also what we would have done. Okay? So once again, thank you for watching GA Flying, and see you on the next video then. Bye bye.